There's a massive backfire on at least two of the Trump cases, one from the Mar A Lago documents case. The other one is the Jack Smith one up in DC. They're both after him. I mean, they're both going to get backfired because he has a secret grand jury that's being called out. And also Mark Levin says Jack Smith is the criminal, not Donald Trump. Welcome to Doug in Exile. We keep you updated on these indictments. Number one is they're not affecting Trump's poll numbers. They're backfiring. They tried to tie him up with these lawsuits. They think they're going to stop him in the 2024 election. It's not. It's going to put him in office. This is going to be what he needs to run on. I know people want him to work on the border and the economy and how bad Biden is. There's nothing more important right now than the weaponization of our government. America is over if the Democrats succeed, and Trump needs to make it a campaign issue. They're coming after you. Okay, let's look at some headlines real quick. This is from Radar Online, quote, Department of Injustice, quote, Donald Trump rages in all caps, early morning rant attacking crooked Joe Biden, and Jack Smith scoffs at the debate invite. Donald Trump on Truth Social wrote, we have a Department of Injustice, RIGGING, the election for crooked Joe Biden. Unless it is quickly stopped, all future elections will follow the same path. Now, this is flat out true. This is the way our elections are going to be done now. They're going to be done in courts, not at the ballot. And our elections are made to solve these problems, not in lawsuits, but at the ballot box. Trump then reposted a message from conservative, they call him mouthpiece Mark Levin. This is one of the greatest minds and one of the great personalities talking today for the last 30 years. The post contained a quote that read, quote, A.G. Garland and Jack Smith, they're the criminals, not Donald Trump, unquote. Trump retweeted that, reposted that. We agree with that. Let's keep going with these headlines, though. Let's get into the backfire on Jack Smith. Trump lawyers used Jack Smith's secret grand jury against him. So he's getting caught in his own trap, as the Old Testament says. Here we go. Trump world lawyers are trying to flip the script in the Mar A Lago case, citing, quote, potential grand jury abuse over the way the Department of Justice Special Counsel Jack Smith keeps running what appears to be a parallel investigation in Washington, unquote, which is illegal. It has to take place where the documents were found in Florida, and he keeps trying to move it up, running grand juries out of Washington or Virginia. Smith now faces increasing pressure from U.S. District Judge Aileen M. Cannon, that's out of Florida, the one handling the Mar A Lago documents case, who was appointed by Trump himself and has already ruled heavily in his favor despite all odds. She's, quote, she's asking questions which are legit to be asked. What's the special counsel's up to? Why are you doing two grand juries, one of them out of Washington, D.C., where it's all biased? Smith's prosecutors are now being cornered and forced to explain an objectively weird scenario that appears to be an ongoing grand jury whose proceedings are secret, a secret grand jury in D.C., in the nation's capital, long after a Miami grand jury already issued an indictment in June. To defense lawyers representing Trump's valet, Walt Nauta, the existence of an ongoing DC grand jury is like taking two bites out of the same apple, totally illegal. And Trump's defense lawyers are raising objections before Cannon. Quote, the government has engaged in multiple improprieties, including, among other things, convening a grand jury in a faraway district from Mar A Lago, ostensibly to obtain evidence with respect to an indictment that was previously returned in the instant district, that was back in June. But it could also make Cannon, that's the Florida judge, to take decisive steps to limit the Department of Justice ongoing investigation, according to two other former prosecutors who have extensive experience with grand juries and spoke on background. According to the federal court rules, prosecutors must expand a grand jury to consider criminal charges against someone in the same area where the crime was committed. They didn't do it. Jack Smith did it up in Washington, D.C. and Virginia. This is going to go down and backfire against him. It just reveals how biased he is. It reveals this is not a normal court case. This is about an election. It's not a normal court case. It does not work like normal court cases because it's about election interference. That's all it is. Once you know that, everything these guys do makes sense. In any other jury, if it wasn't against Trump during an election year, they'd all be going, Jack Smith, what are you doing? What are you doing? They only don't do it because they know it's election time and they got to stop Trump. I want to know what you think down in the comments below. You're better than these freak show journalists that won't do their job. You tell me what you think is going on. What do you think is going to happen? Is Jack Smith going to get exposed, maybe even impeached? Throw that guy in prison. I'm Doug in Exile.